that how we think about things makes a huge difference to how we act. And I would say we collectively, Western society, certainly live in a kind of bewitched condition that we've been, if you like, indoctrinated into, about, particularly about money, but about more than that too. And undoing the spell, or is for me the question, what does it take to undo a spell? And we might get possibly insights from fairy tales which often describe such a condition where there is a bewitched state and certain virtues need to be established or achieved in order to overcome the spell. And that leads me to my question I'm continually sort of puzzling with, is what are those virtues? And is it simply an individual accomplishment that will, so to speak, undo the spell? Or can one, or is it a numbers game? Or not necessarily either or. But I am increasingly moving to the point where I think it is the virtues, in inverted commas, more broadly speaking, the virtues issue that we have to take on board.
What I'd like to do now is pick up on something Bernard said earlier. He asked, what does it take to dispel a spell? And he offered a line of solution. Now, I have a line of solution as well. I'm not going to talk about it at the moment. I would suggest that one of our customers might be at times to pick up on one person's idea and really begin to explore it in some depth, how to make that particular idea work. So what Bernard suggested was, he asked, what are the virtues that would undo the spell? And I recall a book that a friend of mine had. It was called The Virtues Guide, crafted by some community in Vancouver, I think, British Columbia. And every day she would talk about a different virtue from the book with her daughters. And apparently the daughters really appreciated that. So that's my piece to contribute to Bernard's idea of how can we use virtues to dispel the trance people are in.
Can you give the definition of virtues?
Sorry, I didn't hear it, Amy.
Sorry, definition of virtues, please. What is that word?
Oh, care, compassion, courage, forthrightness, honesty, commitment. Some that just come to mind. As opposed to backbiting, shirking, maligning, dominating.
Can you repeat the question? The question again? How do we?
The way Bernard phrased it was, what are the virtues that will undo the spell that people are in?
What are the virtues?
I think when I used the word virtues, I was not thinking in the conventional, let's say, external meaning of virtues. I was thinking more of I was using it as a kind of cover term for what you might call the inner disposition or bearing or what is it? In a kind of dare I use the term metaphysical? I think you know the story of we all know the story of the emperor with no clothes, and it takes the innocent boy to call it out because everyone else has been kind of massaged into compliance and collusion. And I think sometimes we need to find that boy. Now, what's that boy got that everyone else has compromised. And I'm just sort of using it as a bit of a picture, a sort of imagination, something that has come to a certain intensity of purity almost. It's more of a spiritual
Awareness. It's awareness.
achievement than well, where awareness would be part of it, absolutely. So I think, I mean, the external reflections of it in terms of what Andrew just said, you know, being forthright and honest and all the rest of it, that would definitely happen. But you can, you know, when you meet someone, you really feel this person's done the hard yards, so to speak, internally. What they've come to is that working on themselves. That's a little bit what I was hinting at with virtue. So how an individual acts in the world is one thing, but how they act in themselves is a kind of different place. So virtue for me was really, what has someone accomplished? So I think, and a simple example is, if you listen to a message from the same message from two people, they have different impacts. And if you're witnessing the messages, you're in the same room, a significant differentiation will come from the, if you like, caliber, standing of the messenger.